Good morning. Good morning. I am the I owe somebody $5. I am the Reverend Ed Proulx, and as of Tuesday, I am the minister here. It is wonderful to be here. Any visitors here this morning who might be wondering why everyone's clapping, that's the reason why. And I'm very happy to be here. It's wonderful. Any visitors who are among us this morning, we welcome you on Facebook. We welcome you on YouTube. We welcome you on however you're joining us this morning, and we welcome you here in the pews. If you are visiting us here this morning, and you would like us to know more about you, or you would like to know more about us, we invite you to fill in a little yellow card. Can somebody hold up a little yellow card and show? There are the little yellow cards. Beautiful. If you fill in one of those little yellow cards and put it in the offertory basket, there's also a place in the back of the sanctuary. That'll invite you into getting more information about us, emails and things like that. So we hope to see you soon. Following the worship service, folks here in the pews can head to the gathering place, which is right outside, for coffee and conversation. And we'll also have a social time hosted on Zoom by our own Marilyn Rambo. So if you are joining us on YouTube, please feel free to switch over to Zoom and join the conversation there. It asks me here to please silence your cell phones if you haven't already done so. And now I invite Artemis to play our prelude. We're not paying you by the note, are we? Thank you. It was beautiful. As we work to create beloved community, we welcome all who would join us in building a better world with more love, more justice, and more peace. We welcome all who would join us in growing in mind and heart and spirit. We welcome all who would join us in tearing down systems of oppression of all kinds. We welcome all who would join their purpose to our purpose in a loving spirit and in right relationship. Whoever you are, wherever you come from, even if that's Florida, wherever you find yourself on your life's journey, whichever your pronouns, whether you've walked in or rolled in or dialed in or zoomed in, whoever you love, you are welcome here. Amen. And now I would like to invite the esteemed Ministerial Search Committee to come forward. Woo!
Good morning. I'm Zena Taylor, co-chair of the now non-existent Minister Search Committee, and we're here this morning for our last unofficial act. One Sunday morning more than a year ago, Reverend Michelle gave us a gift, a chalice that was a tangible symbol of our task. Beth Hammer became our flame keeper. Since we met on Zoom every Tuesday night, at the beginning of our meeting, Beth lit the chalice, and one of us read a part of our covenant, a constant reminder of what we were about and to whom we were responsible. You, our beloved community. This chalice, which we light for the final time this morning, illuminated our path throughout the search, a search that led us to Reverend Ed and brought him to Emerson as our settled minister. So now it's time to pass this flame to Reverend Ed with our very best wishes, Reverend Ed, that it will light your path here at Emerson as it lit our path to you.
Now we will light our chalice from this very special gift. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ken. Whoops. Uh-oh. It's all right, no rush.
And no pressure.
No pressure, no rush. Beautiful. Thank you. As we gather in community, my friends, we look within ourselves to each other for strength, restoration, and inspiration, so that as we journey together, we catch the spark of the eternal Spirit, and from that spark, we light these chalices this morning. Lighting the chalice flame symbolizes to all that the spirit of our congregation is strong, and that our will to transform ourselves and to transform the world is also strong. We light this flame with gratitude. We light these flames in memory of all who have gone before, in honor of all who are here now, and with joy for all who are yet to come. If you are at home and you feel comfortable, I invite you also to go ahead and light a chalice for yourself to also catch this same spark. And with the lighting of our chalice, we often have chalice lighting words, and our words for this month, we will hear the words of Albert Einstein. Einstein, of course, was born in Germany in the late 1870s, and he died in New Jersey in the mid-1950s. In between, he created a revolutionary reshaping of scientific understanding and of nature. Here he is talking about change. Please join us in lighting this chalice by reading his words with us, which are on the screen above you. The world as we have created it is a process of our thinking. It cannot be changed without changing our thinking. And now I invite you to sing our first hymn in the gray hymnals, hymn number 347, Gather the Spirit. And now is the time in our service when we have a story, a time for all ages. Some people call it a children's sermon, whatever you want to call it. This is that time. And today, the time is coming, the story is coming from a Zen story. Zen, as many of you know, is a form of Buddhism. It's one way of looking at Buddhism. This story is very, very old. It is super old. And like many of the Zen stories, we are not quite sure who wrote the story, but that doesn't really matter. So here's the story. The story is called Moving to a New Town. Two men visit a Zen master looking for advice. This Zen master lives in a different town. So these two men go to visit the Zen master in a different town. The first man says, "I'm thinking of moving to this town that you live in. What's it like?" The Zen master scratches his chin and said, "Well, tell me about the town you live in now. What's it like?" The man says, "It was terrible. Everyone was mean. I hate that town." The Zen master replies, then this town is much the same. You probably don't want to move to this town either. After the first man leaves, the second man asks the same question. He says, Zen master, I'm thinking of moving to this town. And the Zen master gives the same answer. He says, tell me about the town you live in now. And the man says, oh, it's a great town. I love it. Everybody's wonderful. I have lots of friends. It's a wonderful place. And the Zen master says, then this town is just like that town. You will love living here. It's a good idea for you to move here. So that's the Zen story. And Zen stories, of course, often end just like that. There's no explanation, no reason. You have to figure it out. So I will leave to you that story for you to figure out on your own. And now I invite Mary.
Kids, you're all invited to follow Tinica if you wish to go to your classes for activities now. Like many communities of faith, Emerson collects an offering each week, but our offering is not for our congregation, but to give to others, because we know that giving is both a transformative spiritual act and an important way to live our values. 75% of our offering will go to our August Share the Plate recipient, the Carrizo Comacrudo tribe. They are the original people of South Texas Rio Grande Delta. They seek to retain and protect ancestral homelands and burial sites from fracking pipelines. And you can text the number on the screen. I don't see a number on the screen. You can go to our webpage for online giving or put cash or check in our offering baskets, which are located at the front and in the back, or mail a check to the church.
I welcome you now into a quiet time of meditation. Please make yourselves comfortable in a position that helps you feel grounded and centered. Close your eyes if you're comfortable doing so, and take in a nice, deep breath as we together enter into a time of meditation followed by silence. My friends, the truth is, we are constantly changing. The person we were when we walked through the doors of this building just last week or just last month, that person has experienced things, often small things, that change them, that nudge them to alter course. Even the smallest alteration in course brings us over time to a much different destination. If we stay the course and correct for any small nudges, we lose their effect. Maybe that's for the best. Or maybe we were wrong about what our destination should have been in the first place. Or maybe these course changes are a gift from a source larger than ourselves. As we sit together today, let's think about the course changes we've made or the ones we didn't make. Let us feel just for a moment, without any judgment, without any color at all, these made and missed course adjustments, the ones we made or didn't make on purpose, and the ones we made or didn't make due to outside influences. Let us sit together in the silence and in the presence of all of these changes. And may we all say together, amen, amen. And now I'd like to invite Mary to read our reading.
Our reading this morning comes from Zen Master Shinryu Suzuki. Suzuki Roshi lived from 1904 to 1971. He was a Soto Zen monk and teacher who helped popularize Zen Buddhism in the United States and is renowned for founding the first Zen Buddhist monastery outside Asia, the Zen Mountain Center, and the San Francisco Zen Center, which remains one of the most influential Zen organizations in the United States. He wrote the famous books Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind. Here are his thoughts on change. Without accepting the fact that everything changes, we cannot find perfect composure. But unfortunately, although it is true, it is difficult for us to accept it. Because we cannot accept the truth of transience, we suffer.
I will give you all a moment to come back into this room from that music. That was beautiful. So, this is my first sermon here, in the first of what I hope will be a long and wonderful relationship. So I asked some ministry friends, what do I need to do in my first sermon? And it's different than being an interim, because when you're an interim, there's a list of things that they want you to do and focus on, and it's very pointed, and you're there for a very short amount of time. But this is a different feel. This is the beginning of a relationship, not based on specific tasks, but based on relationships. So I got 3 tidbits of advice. The first was that I had to lay down the law. You laughing? Yeah, sure. I don't even tell them how it's going to be with you. The second one said to make friends with you. Be your friend. And then the third one said, make sure you tell them what to expect. So, first, I don't know how you lay down the law and make someone your friend in the same sermon. I'm not quite sure how to do that. So here's the law. So I thought about it. My first thought was, I don't have a law. I'm not going to give you a law. But I do have a law, and I want to give you the law. So here's the law. The law is that this is your church, and I am here to help you make this church into your collective image of what you think this church should be. That may sound self-evident, but there are other forms of ministry in which this is my church, and you're here to help me make this church into my image of what this church should be. I don't operate that way. I think that if this church is going to be successful long after I'm gone, it has to be based on you, not me. So that's law number 1. Law number 2, make friends with you. I am not your friend. I'm your minister. And it's different. I'm friendly. I will be friendly. Given a choice to be your friend or to be your minister, I will always choose to be your minister. And what to expect. So here's what to expect. Expect that I will hold a place for you on Sunday, in religious education classes, at social gatherings, even in meetings, believe it or not. I will hold a place for you to answer life's big questions on your own. That is what you can expect from me. And if I ever am not delivering that, you need to tell me. So, what does it mean to answer these big questions on your own? As this is Unitarian Universalism, that means you answering your questions. That does not mean you answering my questions, and it certainly does not mean you repeating my answers to your questions. That's not how we fly, and you all know that, right? My answers to your questions, in other words, my participation on your spiritual journey, may from time to time prove informative, but they are not authoritative. My answers are way less important than yours. This is what I think the role of church is: personal transformation. The ancient Greek philosophers had a word for it: metanoia. It actually has the same ending. Anoia is paranoia, right? So it's the root words are the same. The root words are meta, which can mean several things, but in this instance, change, and noia, your mind, your sense of mind. Not like your brain, not the gelatinous stuff between your ears, but your sense of your soul, your sense of your spirit. Now, I'm going to give you a hint. If the ancient Greeks had a word for it, it is largely unintelligible by current day standards, right? You all know that, right? So I say, if I throw out a Greek philosophical term, boom, a lot of people just go up. And then this particular term, metanoia, also has a lot of problems with it. It's been mistranslated for millennia in especially the Bible, because there's a lot of Greek in the Bible. The new scriptures, the Christian scriptures were written in Greek, and the word metanoia occurs often, and it's been mistranslated. The translation that is the best that I found was a transformative change of heart. We all go through these transformative changes of heart. And when they happen, to use a metaphor, sometimes we're the river and sometimes we're the boat, right? Do you know what I mean when I say that? Sometimes you're in control of where you're going, and sometimes you are not in control of where you're going. Sometimes you're the river and sometimes you're the boat. Whether we are in control of the outcome or not, change is inevitable. And I would direct you to your own website, your very own website, where it says, we are companions each on our journey of spiritual growth. Now, we use the word growth instead of the word change, because growth has a positive connotation to it. Change has a neutral connotation to it. Spiritual growth sounds a lot better than spiritual change, doesn't it? But growth is just change with a little flavor thrown in for extra measure. And there's also a lot of judgment thrown in with that flavor, right? So what do growth, change, and metanoia all have in common? The core, the foundation of what it means to be in a church, what do they have in common? All three follow the exact same pattern. And as soon as I tell you about this pattern, you're going to be like, oh, but it is there, and it is based on life's three big questions. Now, how many of you are guessing at what life's three big questions might be? Anybody guessing, right? Their minds are spinning, right? Good. So you're paying attention. That's good. I like it. So what are the three big questions? Why am I here? What is my purpose? How should I live? Why do bad things happen to good people? Or sometimes more importantly, why do good things happen to bad people? These are all really good questions, but they are the destination. They are not the journey. Life's really important, non-destination dependent questions are all about the journey, this journey that we've all agreed to share together. It's embedded in our principles. In our fourth principle, we talk about the search for truth and meaning, right? Truth and meaning are two different things, aren't they? One is universal, one is personal. Life's really important questions, these three big questions, are all about that search. They are all about the methodology. So would you like to know what the three big questions are? That you're going to want to write these down, okay? You ready? Question number 1, say what? Question number 2, so what? And question number 3, now what? Say what, so what, and now what? If you think of every growth you've ever been on, every change you've ever been on, it followed that exact pattern. Someone said something to you, You considered what they said. You either elected to agree with them or enter into a conversation with them. Once you enter into a conversation, now that we understand each other, once you've achieved understanding, so say what? Achieve some sort of understanding. So what? Now that I understand, why do I care? And now what? Now that I care, what are we going to do? Every change you've ever been through followed that very same pattern. Say what? So what? Now what? Today, we're talking about say what. Say what is the easiest one to understand and the hardest one to do. Right? Say what? Say what? Do we understand each other? This takes a lot of work, doesn't it? You know, and there are simple things, even the simplest of things. Hey, we're out of butter. Well, what do you mean when you say we're out of butter? Do we just not have any right now? Do we have any in the what exactly do you mean, right? So there's always a little bit of clarification. But when you get into life's really big questions, why am I here? What is my purpose? How should I live? These questions, these are very, the say what process takes a lot of dialogue and we struggle with that. Really hearing people is very difficult. People are often, especially when we get into really big topics, people are often unclear about what they mean. So conversation and sticking with people is so very important. What also is important is us wanting things to be one way rather than meeting people where they are. This is an important step that we all often stumble upon, right? It's very easy to do. Oh, yeah, I know what you mean. No, you don't. And these are just, some of them as we go, especially the ones we tackle in church, are just really difficult topics. And our culture has programmed us to talk, not to listen. Our culture has programmed us to respond, not to listen. Mark Twain, gotta love Mark Twain. Mark Twain famously said, "Never miss a good opportunity to shut up." And I would add, while you're shutting up, listen. Listen well to what your friends are saying. Listen well to what the people around you are saying. So the ancient Greeks had this very hard to translate, completely unclear, misunderstood for centuries, this grand topic that when I threw it out in the world, I know a lot of you went, Greek. But it all starts with a very simple thing, understanding. And understanding starts with Mark Twain. Listen. That's life's first great question. The question we're looking at today, and for the next 2 weeks, we are going to go say what, so what, and now what. We're going to go through all three of them because they form such an important part of what church is all about. They are the pathway to metanoia, the pathway to personal growth, and I welcome the opportunity. I am so looking forward to the opportunity to accompanying you on this journey of metanoia that you are all on, and I hope you will engage this process with gusto and with grace. Amen. And now I invite you to sing with us our closing hymn. You can find it in the gray hymnal. I am to understand that is one of your favorites, which is really good because it's one of my favorites. Rick Maston's number 311, Let It Be a Dance.
We're so grateful for your presence this morning. For those of you who have joined us via live stream, after the postlude, we'll be ending our streaming service. Please feel free to join us on Zoom for our online social hour. The link to the Zoom room is in your weekly email. Thank you to all online attendees. We look forward to hosting you again. And now, before we extinguish the chalice, we have a few announcements. Today is the first Sunday in National Happiness Month, and coincidentally, National Root Beer Float Day. To welcome Reverend Ed and Francine, let's eat dessert first with root beer floats in the gathering place following the service. So rather do-it-yourself operation, someone will be there to help you if you get confused. Later, anyone who's still hungry can join the Lunch Bunch at La Madeleine on San Felipe near the HEB. Margaret Anderson, who presented our adult RE today, is having a book signing after the service. Copies of all 3 of her published books are available. That, too, will be in the gathering place.
He just wants his root beer float. My friends, may you in the course of your week be able to feel the liberating freedom of this religious path we share. May your gods welcome you. May they challenge you to live up to your own expectations of yourself wherever and whatever they are. And may the world around you light up so that you may see your way back to clarity and wholeness. Amen. Amen. Ice cream in the foyer, and now